Welcome back. As Anambra State gets set for another governorship contest, Governor Willie Obiano says he's relying on his performance to win the people's mandate again. His visit to Agwata gives him yet another opportunity to list his achievements and remind the people of his vision beyond 2017.
Hundreds of party loyalists and supporters gather at Ogbobor Township Stadium in Agwata local government area of Anambra State. They are here to listen to the governor, but before then, they submit their own assessment of how they say the governor has transformed the state within a short time. And the key areas include security, management of the state's scarce resources, prompt payment of workers' salary, and massive investment in agriculture and allied services.
The South did do tenors by Dr. Ezife and Dr. Mbadinuju. The Central did 2 tenors by Dr. Chris Ngige and Mr. Peter Obi. It will only be fair and equitable to allow the Anambra North, represented by the incumbent governor, Dr. Willie Obiano, to complete 2 tenors.
Then, the motion to support the people's decision is moved.
And secondly, the motion that says that old Agwata will support and work for His Excellency for his second term in office.
For the former governor of Anambra State, Dr. Chukwuemeka Ezife, the governor has done well in security, which for him is the highest any leader can do.
Kidnapping was everywhere in Anambra State. Insecurity was everywhere. As a member of the Elders Council, when he came to us and said that his first program is on security, I told him, go ahead.
The governor is honored by the traditional ruler in acknowledgement of his leadership qualities.
I want to reassure old Agwata that I am with them. When the rain stops, you will see major infrastructural development in your area.
From Ogbobor, the train moves to Obunka in the Rumba North local government area, where, despite the rains, the people also trooped out in their large numbers to welcome the governor.
Residents of Ajaji community in Ila town under Oshimili local government area of Delta find out over the alleged forceful acquisition of their farmland by the state government. Meanwhile, residents of neighboring Ogbobor community are also laying claim to the same land. Tonight, our community report examines efforts by the state governments to resolve the dispute.
Tussle, now you're talking.
Ila town in Oshimili North local government area of Delta State in the south-south region of Nigeria is usually calm, with farmers tending to their crops. But lately, tension threatens a piece of the land. The battle is on 3 fronts. One side claiming ownership of a large expanse of land, another challenging the ownership, and a third just taking it all. So what exactly is the genesis of this matter? Many say history is the best teacher.
I was born in the year 1936, and my father told me when I was about 8 years that that land belongs to us. But because of war, that made us to give Ajaji people some part of the land, because they helped our people when they were fighting in 1912.
And there are those who find themselves torn between family lines, but must take a definite stand.
I'm from Ajaji myself. My father is from Ajaji. My mother is from Ogbobor. So Ogbobor people owns the land. So I'm fighting for my mother.
So how does the opposing side feel about the issue? especially as a third party appears not to be consulting them before taking decisions and sides.
They just want to take our land for nothing. When we have been struggling to repair our land, the only thing they have is to take the land without noticing the owner of it, without knowing what is good for us. Just like this, you will see, even yourself, can you allow it?
We have already given over 200 hectares to the federal government through Owena River Basin Authority. And the Delta Midwest government has already acquired, before now, over 50 years ago, 250 hectares as forest reserve. If they now take 202 hectares, where will our people live? Where will they farm?
For the state government, it's a matter of dealing with who seems right, and there's no going back on the decision.
I don't think there's any disputes. People are just, raking up dust where there's none and trying to create bad blood. We as a government will continue to appeal to them, to let common sense prevail. But for us as a government, we are dealing with the owners of the land.
As it stands with this case, one party walks away with the treasure, another with the money, and a third crying foul. But there is a sense from the outcry of the aggrieved that the last is yet to be heard from them.
Tussle, now you're talking.
And now to the arts. Funsho Mojola is a contemporary artist popular for breaking convention and taking art to the street. He examines social challenges and his message touches on love, peace and unity. That's where Art Review is headed tonight as we take a peek into his multi-dimensional work.
2017 may seem like a long time, but not for the likes of Funsho Mojola. For him, every minute counts, considering the amount of work he has cut out for himself.
We are learning every day. If you keep doing things every time, people will see it as nonsense. So we pause for some time. Let people feel the heat of the former one before we come out with another set. And by next year, I'm warming up heavily for both the indoor and outdoor art exhibition.
He's been fitting pieces together, which is part of the journey to bringing out something different. That's why this contemporary artist is channeling all his energy into getting a good result.
In art is all about the more you dip your soul and your brush of color, you learn more. The more you produce, the more idea will come. And people that have been buying your work, they might still like to buy. They don't want to be buying what they have before. They want to see something different. That is why the idea of pointillism comes.
The inspiration remains unchanged. He still uses his art as a weapon to preach love, peace, and unity.
In terms of this pointillism, that is where I'm going. I use my brush to preach the gospel on canvas. But now I discovered that my brush is telling me that preach little about this. You have been preaching with this brush for a long year. Go deep to another thing you preach. Same on art.
Irregular shapes, pointillism, photography are just a few things to expect from this contemporary artist who sees life as a learning curve.
The Benue state government has denied the allegation of fraudulently diverting 7 billion naira out of the 7.6 billion naira public primary school rehabilitation fund at the State Universal Basic Education Board. The denial follows accusations by some contractors alleging that 70% payment was made up front to government cronies, while 30% in kickbacks was taken as bribe without executing the projects.
On August the 25th, 2016, the Benue State Governor, Mr. Samuel Otom, performed the symbolic flag-off ceremony of the rehabilitation of 740 public primary schools, most of which were destroyed by herdsmen during attacks on Benue communities. The execution of the projects have since run into troubled water, with controversy and alleged fraudulent diversion of 7 billion naira out of the total sum by paying 70% upfront to government associates, while 30% was taken as kickbacks by government officials.
When you are making such categorical statements, it means you have evidence, and so that they will come and substantiate their allegations. It will be a problem, because nothing of that nature is obtainable in this particular organization. For avoidance of doubt, we follow due process in the entire process of awarding this contract.
Incidentally, the police say 3 accounting staff of SUBEB have been arrested in relation to income and expenditure fraud between 2011 and 2015, while investigations continue.
Some funds that were allocated from the Federation account to the state was either given to SUBEB or traced to SUBEB between this period you have just spoken about. So I think that's what brought them.
While the government believes the burden of proof rests with those fueling the allegations of fraud, the police says it's looking into all the issues to uncover the truth.
A leading union of oil workers has threatened to shut down the country if the federal government carries out its plan to sell national assets as a way out of the current economic recession. Oil workers under the aegis of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSN, described the plan to sell the national assets as a self-destructive move. In a statement, PENGASSN says the plan, which is to solve short-term financial obligations, is really aimed at handing over Nigeria's collective commonwealth to a few individuals. The union is asking the government to instead look for other ways of increasing the revenue base of the country while plugging loopholes and leakages in government finances. Next on the news at 10, Enugu Rangers are just 1 point away from winning the Nigeria Professional League title for the first time in 32 years, following a 2-1 win over Ikorodu United. We'll have more in sports news. Please stay with us.